Hi guys, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon guys, how are you all? So, today we are going to discuss about ionic bonds guys, which is an important topic and we'll be learning about in a very short and crisp manner so that you will be knowing each and everything about ionic bond. And that too, yes, you guys will be knowing in the easiest manner, so that's what we are going to start. But before starting with the ionic bond, I quickly want to introduce myself because there are many new learners right now in the session, so I want everyone to know about me, and as well as I want them also to introduce in the chat. Okay, so okay guys, what we are going to do is, first I'm going to introduce myself, and I want everyone else also to introduce themselves on the chat so that we all will be knowing about each other. So yeah, guys, I'm Manisha Rani. I have experience of online and offline teaching at reputed institutes for more than 5 years. I have completed my masters from NIT Warangal and bachelor's from Delhi University. I have cracked IIT JAM, CSR, NET and GATE. I have given best rank through my student and am your plus verified tutor guys. So yes, I'm Manisha Rani, your chemistry educator at Unacademy. So, starting with the ionic bond, guys, what do you mean by ionic bond? Yes, are you getting any information from the name? Everyone, ionic bond. So, basically, you are getting information, it's related to something like ions, right? Obviously, because ionic bond. So, how we can relate what and all information we can get from it? So, it's a bond between ions, correct? Very good. Other information, what we have to know, what do you mean by bond? Bond means nothing but, it's nothing but force of attraction. So it's a force of attraction between ions. So bond means nothing but force of attraction. So it's force of attraction between ions. First point that we can relate. Next point that we can relate is, yes, it's the bond formed between metal and non-metal, because then only you will be having oppositely charged ions. So bond formed between what? Bond formed between metal and non-metal. Why? Metal and non-metal. Why? Because metal are electropositive in nature. Metal are electropositive in nature. What do you mean by electropositive? That they have tendency to lose electron and become cation. Yes, that they have tendency to lose electron and become cation. Electron and become cation. Hi Alok, how are you? Very good. And talking about non-metal guys, yes, all of you must be knowing they are electronegative in nature. Yes. What do you mean by electronegative? That they have tendency to gain electron and become an ion. So that's what we can relate. So basically what we are discussing about is, Alok, we are talking about ionic bond. So the first information that we get by getting to know the name, that is ionic bond, is that something is related to ions. So what is that? It's a bond between ions. Means force of attraction between ions. How it is formed? So it is formed between metal and non-metal only. Why? Because metal are electropositive in nature, they have tendency to lose electron and become cation, and non-metal are electronegative in nature, it means they have tendency to gain electron and become an ion. Correct? So they have tendency to gain electron and become an ion. Very good. Now what we can relate, because we, when you will have oppositely charged ions, right, they have tendency to gain electron and become an ion, and become an ion. Simple. We can relate with it. Now, what we can understand, metal will form a cation, and non-metal will form anion, so we'll have oppositely charged ions. So because of this, what we can relate, because they're oppositely charged, they will be held together by strong force of attraction. And tell me, oppositely charged things, they attract each other, yes or no? Positive negative attracts, negative negative repel, positive positive, if you will bring together, they will repel. So it's very simple. Oppositely charged ions, that you have cation and anion, are held together by what? Are held together by strong electrostatic force. They're held together by strong electrostatic force of attraction, which you must have studied in physics as well. It's electrostatic force of attraction, and that is why it is also known as electrovalent bond, guys. So that's why it is also known as electrovalent bond. It is also known as electrovalent bond. Very good. So what we have understood, that there will be a metal which will have a positive charge, which generally have, obviously not generally, mostly have, like you can see the example. Let's just take many examples, you will get to know. Sodium atomic number is 11. If we'll write its atomic configuration, it will be 281. So sodium has two choices to become stable. Either it can lose one electron or it can gain 7 electron. What will be easier for it? Yes, tell me, Alok, Nishchal, what will be easy for it? Everyone. Because D-gaming, if you can tell me your correct name also, it will be really good. Why electrostatic? Because they are oppositely charged ions, right? And oppositely charged things, they are held together by what force? Electrostatic force. Magnetic force, you should have a magnetic substance and you should have unpaired electrons for it, no? For the substance to behave as a paramagnetic, to get attracted towards magnet, like that. So what you can relate, because they're oppositely charged forces, that's why they're oppositely charged ions. So because of this, they will be held together by electrostatic force. Electrostatic force is nothing but the force present between oppositely charged ions. Correct? Understood that? D gaming, if you can tell me your exact name. Okay, Dhruv. Okay, Dhruv, very good. So electrostatic force you understood. Electrostatic force is the force which hold together two oppositely charged ions. You must be knowing that, everyone knows that opposite charge or oppositely charged things, they attract each other, while same charge, like charges, they repel each other. Simple. So sodium, as I was giving you the idea, that sodium has two options: either it can lose one electron or gain 7 electron. So what is easier for it? Lose one electron. So sodium will quickly lose one electron and become cation. Very good. Now it has lost an electron and become cation. Now if we talk about chlorine, guys, everyone knows chlorine atomic number is 17, and its atomic number, according to that, we can write its electronic configuration. Because its atomic number is 17, we can write its electronic configuration, which is nothing but 287. Correct? Very good. Now chlorine has again two choices to become stable. Either it can lose 7 electron or gain 1 electron. What it will do? Yes, Dhruv, Alok, everyone, it can lose 7 electron or gain 1 electron. What is easy for it? Yes, if someone will ask you that, okay, you have to go get some thing, right? For that you have to just walk one step or you have to walk 7 steps, you will also choose, yes, one step only. So same way, chlorine wants prefers to gain 1 electron, but it has to gain it from something, right? So it will go to sodium. Sodium will say, yeah, I want to lose electron, so you can take that. So chlorine will take this electron which sodium has lost, and it will become Cl minus. Now because of this reason, because what happened, see, sodium has lost an electron, so it has to give it to someone. That's required. Why? Because until unless someone will not take it, you can't say that sodium has lost electron. Like suppose you are having money in your pocket, guys, right? And you are sitting, okay, and that money fell down from your pocket and it's there near to your chair. but no one has come to the room to take that money. Will you say you have lost the money? No, because no one has taken it. It's still there with you only. Correct. Same way, sodium also desperately wants to lose that electron. So if chlorine will come and ask for it, sodium will say, ah, happily I'll give. So chlorine will take that, and by that you will get Cl minus. So now what you can see, sodium is having a positive charge, chlorine is having a negative charge. They both will get attracted by which force of attraction? Electrostatic force of attraction. They will get attracted. Yes, they both are ions. And what will say? Electrostatic forces of attraction is present. So what will say? Will say that they are bonded to each other, they are attracted to each other, and the bond, what we call it as ionic bond. So electrostatic forces of attraction is present between them, because they will get attracted, and if they will get attracted, they will form a bond with each other, and yes, they will form a bond which is called as ionic bond. Why? Because this is the bond formed between ions. Simple. We can take some more examples as well. Like suppose you have a magnesium chloride, MgCl2. How it is formed, guys? Magnesium is a metal. What is its atomic number? 12. So if you will write its atomic configuration, what you will get to know, its electronic configuration, that it has two choices to become stable. Either it can lose 2 electron because its octet will get completed, or it can gain 6 electron. Again, what is easier for it, everyone? Yes, to lose 2 electron is easier for it. So what will happen? Magnesium will quickly lose 2 electron. Yes, very good. Dhruv, magnesium will quickly lose 2 electron. Now what will happen? Say one chlorine atom will go to the magnesium and will ask, okay, can you give me 1 electron please? Then magnesium will say no. If I will give both my electrons, because then only I will feel stable. If you will take only one, I will still have one. I will still feel unstable. Then what's the benefit for me? So magnesium will reluctantly say no to one chlorine atom. So chlorine will, okay, chlorine has to find some way, because chlorine has to become stable. So chlorine will call one of his friend. So chlorine will call one of his friend. So two chlorine will come, and they both will take one electron, and it will become 2Cl minus. So now what will happen to, like, one magnesium ion which has 2 positive charge and 2 Cl minus ion, obviously they will get attracted and they will form MgCl2, magnesium chloride. Very good. Same way you can check the other examples also, like AlCl3, aluminium chloride. Aluminium is again having 13 atomic number, like you can write 283 configuration. What is easy for it? Lose 3 electron, gain 5 electron. You can just relate with that. Obviously lose 3 electron is easier, so aluminium will quickly lose 3 electrons and have 3 positive charge in it. Now if one chlorine will go, aluminium will say no to it. 2 will go, aluminium will say no. So 3 chlorine has to come to take 3 electron, and you will have 3Cl minus, and 1 Al3 plus and 3Cl minus will combine together, and you will get AlCl3 formed. Very good. So like that you can see many examples. Whenever you have a metal and a non-metal, they will combine together through ionic bond, because I told you the reason. Metals are electropositive in nature, while non-metals are electronegative in nature. So metal will form a cation, non-metal will form an anion. They will get attracted with each other through electrostatic force of attraction, and hence form a ionic bond. I hope everyone is clear with it. Okay. Anyone is having any doubt? Alok, Dhruv, everyone. Yeah. Tell me, guys, anyone having any doubt? Now let's just discuss the next topic, which is in the ionic bond only. What are the factors which affect formation of ionic bond? And we'll be also learning about what are the common characteristics of ionic compounds. Because what are ionic compounds? Ionic compounds are nothing but the compounds which has, yes, which has ionic bond are called ionic compounds. Very simple. So first we'll discuss about what are the factors affecting ionic bond, and then we'll learn about the characteristics of it. So factors affecting the formation of ionic bond. Let's just understand about it. Formation of ionic bond. So there are two main factors, guys. Yes, there are two main factors. There are actually three factors, but out of that, two are really important. Third one also we can relate. So we can talk about all the three. There are three main factors which affects the formation of ionic bond. What is that? First is ionization enthalpy. I hope you guys know about it, but I'll quickly tell you about it. This you must have learned in the previous chapter, which is the third unit, classification of elements. Ionization enthalpy, first factor. Second is electron gain enthalpy, and third one is lattice enthalpy. So these are the three factors which affects what, guys? The formation of ionic bond. Okay, now what is ionization enthalpy, guys? Tell me. Everyone knows that what is ionization enthalpy? Ionization enthalpy is the amount of energy required, yes, to remove an electron from an isolated gaseous atom. Okay, so the amount of energy required to remove an electron from an isolated gaseous atom is called as ionization enthalpy. Okay, so I hope everyone knows that. So ionization enthalpy, how it is going to affect the formation of ionic bond. So remember that low is the value, low value of ionization enthalpy. I can write that in short form IE. Low value of ionization enthalpy favors formation of cation because it requires very less energy to become cation. So it will get positive charge easily. That's what we can relate. So low value of ionization enthalpy favors formation of cation. So you can get positive charge ion if you will be having low value of ionization enthalpy. And I hope everyone is able to relate with ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy. Enthalpy, you can also call it as energy, potential, right? All are the same name for it. So ionization enthalpy is the energy required to remove an electron from an isolated gaseous atom. Okay, so if the less energy is required, it means you can provide that, and easily cation can be formed, so that we can understand. Now if I talk about the second factor, which is electron gain enthalpy. So electron gain enthalpy is the amount of energy released or the change in enthalpy that occurs when an isolated gaseous atom gains an electron. As the name itself says, electron gain enthalpy, correct? So electron gain enthalpy is the change in enthalpy that occurs when an isolated gaseous atom gains an electron. Okay, so what you can relate here, if high energy is released, so it means it is more favorable to form an ion. So high value of electron gain enthalpy. High value of electron gain enthalpy favors the formation of an ion. High value of electron gain enthalpy favors the formation of an ion. So means easily an ion will be formed, and more easily cation and anion will be formed. They will get attracted towards each other, and yes, they will form an ionic bond. So that's what we can relate. Very good. And the third factor which I said is lattice enthalpy. So what is lattice enthalpy, guys? It is the energy released when the ions brought together to form a 1 mole of ionic bond. 1 mole of a bond, that you call it as lattice enthalpy. Okay, so how we can relate that? Lattice enthalpy or energy, anything. Yes, enthalpy, those who doesn't know specifically from the thermodynamics, they can relate enthalpy is nothing but energy. Okay, how we can define it? Lattice enthalpy, I can quickly tell you. It is the energy released when the ions in gaseous state are brought together to form what, guys? Are brought together to form 1 mole of a bond. of a bond. You can define it another way also, just the opposite. It is the energy, it is defined as the energy required. It is defined as the energy required to separate one mole of a bond into its constituent gaseous ions. That also you can relate. It's just opposite. How much energy is released to form a bond, that much energy only will be required to break that bond. Correct? Very simple. So what we can relate is, we can define it with one more way. It is defined as, yes guys, the energy required. It is defined as the energy required to separate one mole of an ionic bond to one mole of an ionic bond or compound into its constituent gaseous ions. That is called as lattice energy. Like suppose you have NaCl. To break NaCl into Na plus in the gaseous state and Cl minus in the gaseous state, the amount of energy required, suppose, right, you require some x kilojoule energy, so that you will relate as the lattice energy. Now remember that guys, lattice energy depends upon what? Lattice depends upon charge. Lattice energy depends upon charge and size. So lattice energy, you can relate that it is directly proportional to charge, means charge of ions. If one ions have +1 and -1 charge, and other ions have +2 and -2 charge, obviously the one which has more charge is going to have a more lattice energy, and it is inversely proportional to size. Like one is lesser in size and another is bigger in size, like you can relate NaCl and KCl. So potassium is bigger in size, so more will be the size, less will be the lattice energy. That's what you can relate. Clear with it guys? Yes. So with this we have understood that the three factors which affect, yes, the three factor which affects the formation of ionic bond is one, ionization enthalpy, second, electronic enthalpy, and lattice enthalpy. So that is what you can relate. Now can we define ionic bond? Yes, can we define ionic bond after getting to know all the information? It's very simple. The bond formed by the complete, it is the bond formed by the complete transfer of electron from a metal to non-metal. Yes, very good. It's simple. Now the last topic regarding ionic bond, to complete that, what we'll be discussing, it's very simple. Characteristics of ionic compounds, we'll be discussing that. Those compounds which contains ionic bond are called ionic compounds. So what are the characteristics for it? What are the properties of it? So characteristic properties of ionic compounds. Let's just discuss that. So talking about the characteristic properties of ionic compound, the first thing is that they are generally crystalline in nature. They are generally exist as crystalline solids. Like we have a salt, crystalline solids. Very good. Because the electrostatic force of attraction between the ions is strong. So tell me guys, Alok, Dhruv, everyone, that they have high melting and boiling point or low melting and boiling point? Yes? What do you think? They have high melting and boiling point, or they have low melting and boiling point, as they have a strong force of attraction, the strongest force of attraction. What they'll have? So they have high melting and boiling point. Okay, very good, because the force of attraction is strong, and along with that they are good conductors of electricity. They are good conductors of electricity in molten state or aqueous state. In molten state or aqueous state, right? Which is, we can say dissolved, which means dissolved in water. So they conduct electricity in molten state or aqueous state, and they are generally soluble in polar solvent like water. Because you should know that for the solubility, the criteria to check is like dissolves like. For the solubility, the criteria to check is like dissolves like. So what you have to know? It's very simple. Yes, that if they have a charge, so even they will get dissolved in a substance which also will be having charge separation. So soluble in polar solvent like water. Very good. So with this, we have talked about ionic bond completely. We discussed about what is ionic bond, what are the examples related to it, what are the, yes, what are the conditions required for the formation of ionic bond, what are the favorable conditions, and then we discussed characteristic properties of ionic compounds. So I hope you all understood about it, and now you have a complete clarity about ionic bond. And if you have any doubts, you can ask to me, guys. Tell me, everyone. Anyone is having any doubts? Yes? Yes. If they're in solid state, they won't be in good conductor of electricity. Dhruv, why? Because in the solid state, they won't be having ions. They are like combined, no? So for anything to conduct electricity, require free electrons and ions. Correct. Are you getting this point, Dhruv? In the solid state, what they will have, they won't have any ions. So they are not good conductor of electricity in solid state. They are in molten. Molten means what will happen? They will get separated. They will have ions now. So ions, see, anything conducts electricity due to the movement of ions or electrons. But in solid state, that ions are combined. They are intact. They cannot move. So they won't be moving. So obviously solid state won't conduct the electricity. But when you talk about molten state, means melted state, or in aqueous solution, means when you have dissolved in water, there are ions present. So because ions are present, so they can move, and if they can move, the electricity will be conducted. Clear with it? Yes, Dhruv, understood? Very good. Abbas, Dhruv, understood? Tell me, still any doubt? Okay, very good. So what we discussed today, guys, we completely discussed about ionic bond today, right? I hope you guys enjoyed the session, and the same way, the way we have classes here, guys, we have also there on Unacademy platform, and there are special classes which are absolutely free for everyone, so you can join even there as well. And yes, there the classes are for 1 hour, and if you want to learn about any specific topic in that special classes, you can tell me in the comment section, so I can keep one special class related to that specific topic, so that you will be feeling confident in that topic, so you can let me know that as well. Okay, so okay guys, we'll be meeting in the next session then. Thank you all of you. Bye bye. Thank you, Dhruv, Alok, Abbas, everyone. Bye guys, see you in the next session. Thank you guys. Bye everyone.